Courageous Self-Confidence, Episode 3. Hello and welcome to Courageous Self-Confidence, a podcast committed to inspiring you and increasing your self-confidence. We hope that this podcast encourages you in who you truly are so that you can have a greater capacity to live out your destiny. Yeah. This is Samuel Hatton.
And Weston Picorni.
And we're recording live from Weston Picorni's garage. We're going to be talking today about courageousness. Courage, courageous. What do these words mean? But you know what? We forgot to mention last episode. What's courageous self-confidence? Why did we feel like we had to put the word courageous in front of self-confidence? Well, self-confidence alone is just not good enough. No, I'm kidding. Self-confidence is good, but being able to there's an attribute of courage that says, you know what? Go ahead and take steps into fear. Even though you're afraid, even though you're anxious, do what you know you should. Go for it. You know? There's like this courage. I'm going to take this. I don't know. I feel like I'm blowing smoke right now. You know what I'm talking about?
No, not at all. Again, self-confidence stands up in a lab, right? You create, you know yourself. You've got confidences in experiences that you have or ideas, but courage is taking action in spite of fear that I think you've mentioned before. Mm-hmm. And that's what courage is. Courage is something bigger than just yourself. It's something that when lived out is actually encouraging to others and uplifting.
It is uplifting, and it's uplifting to other people because it's very related to encouragement. Encouragement, bestowing courage on other people, hope into other people. I have here this definition from Google. They define courageous as what it's not deferred by danger or pain. Brave, fearless, valiant,
boldness,
valorous, bold, daring, unshakable. So these courageous is basically the attribute of having courage. And I have some beliefs about courage I wrote down. Just brainstorming. It's acting despite fear. It's conquering fear. It's having your foot right on the neck of fear.
Yeah. I see courage as facing conflict.
Oh, that's good.
Mm-hmm. And seeking resolution. In order to seek resolution, you need to take action. So it's really quick but careful decisions that get you into asking questions and taking action. It just gets you moving despite the fear.
Now, those moments when you're in your heart's thumping, it's just like boom, 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 boom. And you're just like, I know I should do this.
Right.
I just know it. Those are the courageous moments of our lives. But are we going to take them?
But all the doors of comfort are over here, and it's much easier to walk through those.
Right, which is very interesting because we're talking about self-confidence. Self-confidence being in a place of certainty and assuredness, which can be easily mistaken for comfort. And that's why courage amplifies it. And that's why we choose to use the word courageous self-confidence as the name of this podcast, because that's what we're seeking after. I have some other things about here. I believe that courage is a choice that we make in those critical moments that end up making us stronger. I think that if we make a choice that is going to hurt us long term, that's not exactly courage, but it borderlines stupidity.
Right. Right. Subjecting one to pressure causes growth, but we don't think that in the moment of of crisis or conflict or something, a task that may seem overwhelming. Again, it's taking action. It's taking quick but careful action.
Right.
That represents some, it's a bold action in truthfulness. Something that but you
right. Something is absolutely this needs to happen.
But there are emotions that have you on edge, and
right.
that's where there's just a switch and you move forward.
Right.
You're not thinking, oh, I'm going to grow from this. I'm going to gain wisdom from this. You're not.
You're just going for it. I have here. I believe that courage destroys procrastination.
Absolutely.
So when you have things that you're procrastinating on, courage can just take it out. It's the best way to combat it. I have that it's exhilarating. Courage is exhilarating. It's just like, one of the, think about the things that exhilarate you. Think about it. Isn't there always just a little bit of an element of courage in there? Because there's an element of risk.
Right.
Right?
Right.
I remember for the longest time, the only thing that really gave me that exciting kind of anxiety was talking to a girl. And it was because I didn't have self-confidence, But, you exercise your courage over time, throughout your lifetime, and you begin to gain strides in self-confidence. They complement each other so well. I have here a couple other things about courage. Courage starts with faith. So it first starts with believing that something can happen, and then just going for it. You don't know the outcome, but you know that it's going to be good for you. It's going to be better than not doing something. I believe that courage is amplified with wisdom and discernment. Wisdom just basically means drawing up upon the experience of your own experiences or the experiences of other, and discernment is just knowing right from wrong or truth from lies. Because if you are courageous but you are doing something that is a lie or something that isn't based in reality, then that can be dangerous. So I believe it is amplified when you have that wisdom and discernment. I believe that courage blazes new trails.
Courage is the desire to do something, to go somewhere that's important, that's challenging, that really is not only for self, but it impacts others in a way that's good.
Right. Exactly. And I like to call that adventure, having a life of adventure. It's like throughout this podcast, throughout this series, we're going to be talking about how you can live a full life, how you can take your life and treat it as something that is extremely important, because your life is really the only life that's worth living, because the only life that you can live. So don't try to be everybody else, Don't try to be somebody else. Everybody's already taken. Right? All right, there's that quote you shared with me like a couple weeks ago.
Right, and actually, I almost could tell you the source of that.
Maybe Google can tell us another time.
All right.
But anyway, this is what this podcast is about. And I'm excited that you are here with us and that you want to dive into this topic too. This is just, our initial brainstorm study of courage and self-confidence, and we've been doing a lot of research in all of this, but I cannot wait to start getting some experts on the show, man. It's going to be good. Is there anything else? Yes. Head over to couragehub.com. Courage Hub is kind of like where this podcast lives, and it's like the .com for this podcast. Go to couragehub.com review, and leave a review. Tell us what you think about the podcast. We're going to show you how you can get into iTunes and leave a star rating review. But be honest, Tell us what you think. Ask us some questions. This is free form. Go wild. Write a paragraph, or a sentence, anything. This actually really helps the show to get found and helps the community grow, and which is something that I think both of us would really appreciate. And I think you'd appreciate too if you want to join in on the conversation. So with that, this is Samuel Hatton
and Weston Picorni
signing out. Next time, we will be introducing a series on stories of courage. So check it out. We'll have a special guest and we will geek out